Hello, welcome to Life on Linux. Today's video is concerning MySQL Workbench 6.3, and we will be creating a new user for a particular database or schema. There are some prerequisites for this video, and that's a working MySQL server and a working connection to MySQL server, and then finally an existing database, and of course a working install of MySQL Workbench 6.3. So to begin, we will start by opening our local instance, and you can do that by double clicking on the tile for your local instance. And we're presented with the schemas and a blank query. We're going to start out by filtering on this schema. Now this is not something you have to do, but it'll limit the number of things we see and make it a little bit easier to understand for the sake of the video. I only have one table in here. It's called videos, and the contents and structure of it is not important to this video. So the next thing we'll do is add users and privileges by clicking on the users and privileges under the management section. So when we click on users and privileges, we're brought into an extra tab is added next to the query, and we have a list of existing users and a grayed out section of user activity, or user details, sorry. And we're just going to simply do add account, and we're going to type in the name and password of this user. So we'll say Linux user, and we'll type in the password as change me, and make sure that you use good passwords, because this database this user may end up exposed to the internet, and you want to make sure that they have a good password. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move into some of the account limits and schema privileges. So account limits are just how many things it can do per at a time. So like if you wanted to secure this to one user, you could do one connection, or things like that. So you could lock down the user by adding limits here. Administrative roles, this isn't going to be an administrator, but we have preset roles that you could use if they're going to be various administrators. By selecting say DB designer, it pre-selects your privileges for you over here, and that makes it a little bit easier to determine what the user should be. Keep in mind that this is a system-wide, these are system-wide settings and not just table-wide, or not just schema level. So we're going to look at the schema. So MySQL seems to refer to databases as schemas interchangeably. You see it says database here and schema here. So just keep that in mind. So what we're going to do is we're going to add an entry. We're going to pick the schema. So I'm going to do selected schema Life on Linux and click OK. So right now it has no privileges, and we're just going to give it some basic ones. Select, insert, update. We'll leave delete out, because you're not supposed to delete data really, right? Or something like that. We'll do create, alter, and let's just leave dropout, and we won't add any of these other rights. So this would be a fairly limited user, basically just a query user, not somebody who's managing tables at all. And then you simply click apply. So now this user can have additional schemas by adding an entry here, and you could select another schema here. So say I want to give him privileges to this little thing I've been working on. You could do that through that way, and then add the privileges in the same fashion. So that's the user there done. And the next thing we'll do is we'll just test it with the console. So in order to test the new user, one way is to go into your console and use the MySQL client. So I'll connect to the MySQL client by typing MySQL and then the username. So then we'll type our new user, which was Linux user, and we'll specify the P option to give it a password. And the password, if you recall, is change me. And we're greeted by the MySQL welcome screen. So to start out with, you can do a show databases. And one thing you'll note is that it only shows the ones that you have access to. I guess, not sure why it lets you see information schema, but I'm guessing that's going to be okay. So just like regularly, you need to select the database. So even though you only have access to the one, you still have to type a use, so MySQL knows which ones you're using. So you'll see the database has changed. Now if I do show tables, you'll see the one table that's in this database. And we can do a select on that table to verify we have access to it, because there are table level privileges as well. So we'll select star from videos. And you'll see we get the one video I have listed in there. So that's it for today. I hope you found this useful, and I hope you learned how to create a user using the Workbench. Look for videos on how to do this in the command line as well, and other videos regarding MySQL and other Linux utilities. Please have a great day.